such an amazing movie. It was the reason I wanted a suitcase with a handle when I was little, so I could.
Good morning.
I haven't seen it in so long.
It's Friday. What's going on at MAP? I just thought of that as I was writing the word MAP. Everything okay at MAP? Okay. So I don't know. I requested last night that this story would get stranger and stranger, and then we would find out if it's actually true. I think they said he's taken into custody or something. So, I can see why some people wanted to discuss free speech again. I guess that's fine. I mean, obviously, within your species, you have constant topics. That's your business, right? Because I think that it's intended to be funny. Okay, it's different in your species where when you point out to people like you caught them in something like they're in a courtroom. Okay, because you're still trying to explain to them free speech. I guess if that's if that would help people understand something could be wrong with their thinking, and now my throat's gonna go. Something could be wrong with their thinking. Okay, it's like one-sided. All right, that's fine. Because I can tell you're still not being allowed to discuss the housing. Okay, and you were told from the beginning all you had to do was house me, one person, and God would make you stop with the fuel burning. So, in a sense, it's sort of, again, my job, and it's for acceptance, not to drive you crazy. Okay. Do not try to block roads. Do not try to create a safe area for yourselves. Do not try to damage people's automobiles. Don't interrupt public transit. Okay. It's Almighty God. Okay. It's pointless. I'm trying to help you. Okay. So, acceptance. What I explained to you about the Titanic, entire land peace fully within the thermonuclear agreement. Okay. Explained how, yes, people took over your country. It's treason, crimes against humanity. So it fits the criteria. Okay. Also emergency measures because you have pandemic of dementia that is progressive. Okay. So it just left alone as it is, people would continue to keep running around with no brains in their heads and they can't take care of themselves. Okay, so compassionate euthanasia. Okay, to prevent literal hell on earth, in particular for your species. So, just to address some people that think somehow they have a right to be on my land and do this to me. And why is God allowing you? He's not. He's actually not. You might want to take a gander at the worldwide cancer map and then ask yourselves if he's actually allowing it. He's not. Be my last enemy. It just means you're a natural enemy of mine. You're a natural predator, as you can see, what you've done. And so I am a species that Almighty God determined has an everlasting kingdom on planet Earth, and you're not allowed to extinct me. And I have a way of life that's been suppressed for 365 years now. Okay, so you're being removed from my land piece. What goes on in the rest of the planet right now is really none of my business. This is where I am. It's clearly the eagle, the bird. This is my land for my species. Okay, so you're being removed from it by God. 40s earlier this morning, fairly widespread, even 59 in Boston. The numbers launching off those morning lows quite easily. I would assume denial and a constant fight with the Almighty, because clearly you don't allow me to live. You won't even allow me a place to live. Even in a tent, you don't allow it. Okay, and that's not even exactly right. It's a nomadic species. It's a hunter-gatherer species. It's not a society. We're not interdependent. Okay. We don't do things to alter nature. Okay, we're guests here. You don't cut down trees. I don't know about the structures yet. We'll have to see what God says, but it would have to be wood, and then you go how many trees have already been cut down. So I figured maybe take turns in the houses after the other species is gone as God deteriorates them. I don't know if we're supposed to maintain them or not. I don't even know if we really have to have a discussion about it after the other species is gone. Just wait till that happens. There's not a lot of like long-term planning in my species. Like you're in the spirit, you're doing what you find yourself. You've walked over to Georgia and you go, yeah, okay, well, it's not called Georgia, but oh, that's funny. I see that God led me over here. Sleep here for the night. And then usually you can see why. There's something there for you. Okay. And then where you left from is like, you know, an ice storm or something. Yeah. So there's not a lot of like not wanting to go a place because God said so, not Oz said so. So lots of people having allergies and stuff, and clearly I smoke pretty heavy. Smoking suppresses rage. The negative thing is you don't walk anymore. You just sort of, yeah. I guess a slow death, if that's what you call it. I mean, and like internally somewhat, yes. So that's what I'm saying. What you've done to me is definitely cause for extermination. Okay. Not I got old, I'm only 54. Okay, that's not old. Talk to some 65-year-olds that are still walking like that and lifting weights. Okay. That's part of abuse, by the way. Okay. Like you purposely deteriorate a person and then start calling me old or something's wrong with my teeth or I've lost muscle mass or I look sick and I look pregnant. It's part of dementia. Like you're sadistically insane. So that's like a thing I've had to deal with, which is difficult. Just recently, I explained it, the secretary at Spalding. I clearly am too old to be pregnant, right? And you just go, oh, Jesus, God. How can any person be that sick? But they are. They 100% are. Just the brain is gone, and it's like a primate psyche, and the brain matter isn't, getting it. She was probably a very competitive female when she was younger and just envied people, those ones that I told you about. They lay in wait for you to quote unquote get old or something bad to befall you. See, it happens to everyone. That's what they, yeah. Horrifying. I couldn't even tell my husband until he left because I knew he would get mad. I didn't want him to say something to her. Yeah, I have polycystic liver disease and polycystic kidney disease, and you force me to eat junk and not rest, and then you blow up an abdomen and then ask me if I'm pregnant. You're sadistically insane, not you made a mistake. Hi. I got the live stream on. Oh, I didn't do the coffee. Hold on. You want me to wash it out?
Yeah. Well, just rinse it. Doing all right with the continued quick recovery. The suspect is under arrest at the hospital. The license officer lays out our second statement. Announcing he is suspending his campaign. Amanda is back with the details. Laura Kraft's decision comes just days after he did earn the second most votes in the city's preliminary election. He's citing the political climate in making this decision. This does clear the way for another term for Buster hugs inside the campaign office as Josh Kraft announces he's suspending his campaign for mayor. In a statement on social media, he wrote, "Over the last couple of days, I've continued to listen to my friends, my family, and to the people of Boston, the voters who spoke on Tuesday night. After careful consideration, I have decided to suspend my candidacy for mayor of Boston." This week, Kraft came in a distant second.
I think I'm just gonna have some instant coffee because I already have like 2 books. I don't want to use a bunch of those pods. Just heat up some water.
In his statement suspending his campaign, Kraft cited the recent violence across the nation, saying he wishes to avoid more political mudslinging. He wrote, "We could spend the next 8 weeks politicking with harmful rhetoric or nasty attack ads, or we could get back to what really matters, the issues that impact Bostonians each and every day."
I'll put this over here after you decide you ever want to use it.
Kraft also said they'll donate resources to tackle the crisis that Matt Samuel after the war. He is able to donate $3 million to also drug and overdose crisis there. He also said the school state sisters calling for safety as Boston responded and was in response to the hordes of shots fired. None is back in the details. The University of Philadelphia, which I know is no actual cause, but still on campus was also concerned in the hospital.
And then heard the police come into our lab and tell us to evacuate immediately.
Students getting alerts on their phones. The school warning them of
You're
police
welcome.
activity near the President's Hall East building and the new
I'm not gonna keep that thing on that much longer because I gotta charge it again anyways. I thought maybe when she gets back I might take a walk, if you don't mind, and find out just exactly how out of shape I actually am.
Then we had to go down the stairwell. At each of the doors, there was a cop with his gun drawn.
Guns pointed at me. They say, "Get the heck out of the building. Run, run, run."
Once police gave the all clear, the Chancellor of UMass Boston shared in a letter writing, "We know how unsettling this incident was, especially for those on campus who experienced the large public safety response and campus-wide sweep.
I think they put a sidewalk in down there because last year when I was here and I started walking, they started building a sidewalk.
Like, a million things go through your mind.
I'm tired of
Might
sitting
make the
here
walk a
and
little bit more
locked
enjoyable, I
down.
guess.
We're supposed to be learning. We're paying temperature, and I'm paid to be scared." School officials say there was no evidence of gunfire, and right now it's not clear
I
where
gotta
the
use
reported
these
shooting
sneakers.
came
Get
from.
some collection of those other
Juliana,
sneakers.
thank you. Lockdown lifted at the U.S. Naval Academy in Maryland. There were reports of a shooter dressed as a police officer on campus yesterday. Those reports turned out to be false. Officials say a student in a dorm attacked an officer searching the building. An officer fired and hit the student in the shoulder. Happening today, the U.S. Security Council is set to hold an emergency debate.
All right, so someone on the chat has a question about menopause because that's important. You have to not get a period for an entire year before you're actually in menopause, which hasn't occurred. So I'm not actually in menopause. So hopefully that's sufficient. I don't know what that actually means, but it would make sense to the other species because that's all a female is a breeder. So they're completely obsessed with youth and being able to produce children. But in terms of my medical condition, it's actually way better for a person once you pass menopause because of the estrogen. Because of the glycogen, you'd still have to walk, but walking off exercise like that also lowers your estrogen. So in a freakish, weird way, the whole entire medical condition causes you to have a diet and an exercise program, which also helps fight against cancer. Right. You could tell a person a million times to lose weight. They have a history of cancer, everything about how that ups your risk. They're just not going to do it. You have a liver that's so big that you start getting chest pains and you can't breathe. That might motivate you to follow a diet and walk, and thus for also help protecting you against cancer in the long term. There's a difference between active nuclear weapons in ionizing radiation and long term radioactive decay.
I heard of Morgan and Morgan, but never ever thought I'd be put in a predicament where I had to use them. They want to make sure that you and your family are well taken care of. I'm very happy with where I was.
Just like you had people in what, Japan? You had an initial bunch of people that just died immediately from that much ionizing radiation. And then fires that were caused by probably the I don't know if it was really the heat from the weapon, but almost like a tornado of heat. And the structures back then, because I looked it up, were all sort of like primitive and wood and straw, so they burnt. Not you need a fireball like that or you're not being nuked. It's not 1945. They detonate them up in the sky. So the heat is up in the sky, and then the ionizing radiation comes down. So you have initial people, because it was a lot of them died in the fire. And then over the long term, they saw all the effects, sort of like Chernobyl, what it does to the next generation in the cancer risk long term. So you could be born and I don't know, you've got like a club foot or something, or you've got a enlarged thyroid like you saw in Chernobyl, but you could still produce a child. You didn't die from it. Or the people who were around who didn't have those chromosomal abnormalities, but some people did. Because then at that point, it's just radioactive decay. It's not the same amount of it. Yeah, don't plan on surviving this on this land piece. Just don't plan on surviving it, but I know some people probably think they might survive. The whole land piece is being cleared. You're not going to survive. What'd you do? Ice cubes? Yeah, this is actually kind of nice. I think I prefer this over the pods because I don't really care for the flavor of those because it's hot. And I can still use light cream. It's just the instant coffee. Speaking of that menopause, though, I remember when I was in the shelter, there was so many females that went through menopause in their 40s, which I thought was a little bit strange. They thought it was weird if you were like 48 and you were in menopause. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but they're on the weather now, so there's not really anything to discuss. Unless Brian's got something. Anything fun, babe? Oh, there's a game tonight. That will be fun. That was wicked fun the other night. And then there was a game that I missed because I think they're playing the Yankees too. I don't know if it's a home game or. It's pretty warm. Yesterday it was pretty warm.
So closed off in a crash on 495 as you're traveling northbound. So right where it meets with 110. So a couple of lanes are closed off here. It's going to be that left lane and center lane too. So naturally those drive times have built. At one point it was about 40 to 45 minutes. We've already approached an hour. I know for Friday, especially this late in the morning.
Usually this gets wicked repetitive. Brian and I were watching this at the campground. It's like the same thing. It's only the news is 10 minutes long and it just loops and loops and loops. That's why I like either CNN or Fox News. They will repeat stories too, but then they make up all this breaking news and stuff. So it seems like that fills up a whole day. Back when I had a house and a TV. Whereas this is just okay. Talk about boring. I remember when Barbara Kent was screaming at the TV at the weather women, why are they so skinny and stuff. Probably, I'm sure there's probably been a lot of that over 14 and a half years, just screaming at your computer and your phone.
One of those getaway cars smashed into this car, killing the driver. 5 men inside the getaway vehicle were hospitalized and placed into custody. $180,000 in stolen merchandise.
Well, I thought I was going to have these new sneakers, but unfortunately they're too small. So I still have to get sneakers eventually. Brian got new sneakers, and then he actually had another pair of shoes here that were barely worn, so that was good. I had left a pair of fashion sneakers I could wear because I had to throw the other ones away. So we're planning on getting the snorkel stuff eventually. So maybe I'll get sneakers with it. And then we wanted to pay for shipping. Kill 3 birds with one order. Yeah, maybe it'll be different today. I looked yesterday and I tweeted Royal Caribbean because sometimes when this happens, they will actually email me and tell me how many days it is. I don't know if it's an issue with the app or someone does it because it's something they know I enjoy to do. It's nonstop. It's a bunch of crap. It's like when someone stopped me from being able to read Tumblr posts that I posted. There's no meaning to it but dementia. You just go, okay. Like the blocking I was talking about. Anything to get a reaction, and then there's a battle war, like an animal. It makes sense in terms of what I was saying. It's not just your everyday dominance. Like everywhere you go, a person has to correct you about something first because that's them dominating you. And then you can have a conversation, just the most bizarre stuff that I want nothing to do with, but yeah. And then, of course, you're going to dominate me every time because you're insane. Yeah, so I just go, oh, okay, yeah, all right, I see. I'm talking about the ones that like attack you with because it's envy. So you're a body, that's the genetic pool they want to dive into when they force you to kill them and they become you, like Susan Atkins explained. It's still doing it. Usually it will show your ceiling. And then you can either select a different cruise, I guess, or you can scroll down. Yeah, see, something's wrong with the thing. We hit a snag. That may not even be Royal Caribbean doing that. Okay. Yeah. It sounded like someone's phone. We're unable to complete your request, so please try again later. Yeah, there's something up with the app here.
DPW workers honored with the Madeline A.B. Sweeney Award for civilian bravery.
I'm honored. You know, to get an award like this on a day like this, it's a special day.
Jesse Whitaker and Jason Papa raced to the rescue last summer when a home went up in flames in Everett. The pair were working nearby on Hancock Street when they smelled smoke and ran over to help.
I didn't do it just today, so you know, every once in a while. I got 6 kids myself, so I would have, you know, doesn't matter what building it was. I'm going in no matter what. This is the way I the little girl that
Everything. It's like a complete obsession, so we'll see how long that seems to make sense to keep talking. Like, maybe it'll make sense to keep talking like that forever. I don't know.
Took off from Logan Airport on September 11th, 2001. When her plane was hijacked, Sweeney called the supervisor to relay information before the plane crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center.
My mother was a woman who, in her final moments, chose courage over fear and grace over panic.
Sweeney's daughter Anna presenting the award, sharing personal stories and memories, ensuring her mother's legacy.
Like, the entire Royal Caribbean app is like not working. Yeah, I just went to like profile to try to. Hopefully not, because sometimes stuff like this happens anyway. I'm not going to blame the app that Brian told me to put on my phone. That was just sending me notifications to scan. I don't even know how to do that. Is there something I'm supposed to hit on this, babe?
What?
It sent notifications that I haven't scanned in this many days. I just got the thing a week ago.
It doesn't matter. You can scan anything.
Unless it's not coming from that, it's coming from something else.
No, it's coming from that. I get it all the time.
Yeah, I might have to take that app off my phone. They could be the ones interfering with the app and then telling me, because it went right to app scan. Yeah. Hopefully it will actually come off of my phone when I take it off. People just make up this stuff because they're mentally insane. We can only assume they're dangerous, so God has them thinking to do that, and it distracts them till they die. It's just such an insane thing to even think to be doing, and you don't realize how insane you are, where you're just going to make up stuff that messes up people's devices. It's really glad I'm not them. That's all I can say. Yeah, not found. Just run scans and they're not finding anything. I don't have a recycle bin on my phone. I have a trash can. Yeah, someone put something on here from one of the campground websites, apparently. Yeah, this camping and RV parks, this Happy Grounds, don't click on anything to do with that, because that's one of them that's doing it. There's 20 apps running. These apps need to be running continuously. I don't think they... I don't know what enable automatic mode means. And then it goes back to this camping thing again. I don't know if that's supposed to be funny. Why does it keep going back to that when it's supposed to be shutting off things? that I don't want on my phone.
It really is just a win-win for everyone. And love it. Good story. Let's get something else. Another nice day. Speaking of good, to end the work week. First distracting whether Saturday or Sunday is the better of the two weekend days. And we are following breaking news on a Friday morning. President Trump announcing a suspect in the
Someone calling me that doesn't show up as anything, so they can leave a voice message.
CNN sources say that person saw the images of the suspect. We're expected to hear from investigators in just a few minutes.
Maybe. Well, they would leave a voicemail. In the past, babe, when I used to live stream, insane people would call the phone just to interrupt what I was doing, interrupt me talking, because they're unfortunately ill. All right, let's see if I can get Royal Caribbean to work now.
With depression, it feels like every day you're just going through the motions. But what if you could make it go better?
What?
Suck your dick, but I'll give you the recipe for my macaroni salad.
Melody works fast. Some saw relief in as early as 1 week. And the Melody's lasted, on average, significant relief was seen in 6 weeks. Antidepressants may increase suicidal thoughts and actions in young adults. Tell your doctor about sudden changes to mood, thoughts, or behavior. Don't take
That'll be something to just take off the phone. I'm really not seeing anything that it does. Brian found it helpful on his phone, but I'm not really seeing that it's doing anything helpful on my phone. There's not a reason to keep it on there.
Don't take with MAOIs. High blood pressure, manic episodes, serious eye problems, and dizziness can occur. Report all medicines you take to avoid a life-threatening condition. Don't take Auvelity if you are ready to become pregnant. Side effects can include dizziness.
Some of it, these people that won't stop messing with phones, they probably have brain disease. I explained the thing about the pH in the brain. It's part of the dementia that people are having. You might want to look it up, as I did. It's an actual medical fact. Yeah, like they're projecting constantly out onto others, and it has like a meaning as to their work, when God is just explaining to them that their brain is sick, their pH is being affected, and that they have dementia. That's progressive. That would be like if I started making up something weird that's like my storage, like polycystic liver disease, and then I went around telling everybody they have to get rid of their storage because someone's actually doing that to me. Okay, like it's part of dementia, right? Like you won't hear what God's saying to you, and then you think that's a message for someone else, but it's not a message that actually makes sense. It has to do with your world system. It's a work you do. Why else would you keep telling a person that she's got to get rid of storage on a phone when it's constantly deleted? Not a message for me. If you could stop putting that shit on my phone, that's a message for you from God. It has to do with you and your personal health.
President Trump says a minister identified him. Now he says the minister has relations with law enforcement, saying he knew a member of the U.S. Marshal Service. The president says someone very close to him turned him in, and CNN sources saying that person saw the images of the suspect, matched the description of their relative, and the suspect made some statements that this person was indeed the shooter. They then contacted authorities.
Yeah, I do think someone would mess with the Royal Caribbean app. Right, because they're pissed. They get pissed about everything I do that's fun and happy, and we're not going to pay attention to this nonsense because we're going to go right back to talking about cruises. Just what I do. You go, it's what? And then you show all this shit like you're going to talk about something real, and then you start talking about your nonsense. Okay, so I expect my Twitter feed to go back to being about cruises like it was before this insanity began. And at least I thank you for not banning my Twitter for a week which is not needed to show you nonsense, as you saw. Okay, I even drew attention to your nonsense. So, no reason to keep talking or addressing what you're talking about because it just rolls into insanity.
Charlie Kirk's casket was flown to his home state of Arizona on Thursday. Vice President J.D. Vance carrying the casket.
All right, so babe, just so you know, this is how fucking insane people are. So because the Royal Caribbean app isn't working, that tells me how many days to the cruise. I put in Google how many days until January 4th. Oh, wait, it's the wrong year. Hold on. I put 2025. That is something that would happen, though. Okay, 114 days. Yay. So if you're minus 5 days, that's 109 days, right? Till the 30th of December when we go to New York City for the day. So we get a vacation in 109 days. I'm waiting for it to be under 100. When I booked this thing, it was like 300 and something days. Clearly, it was like a year and a half away. I booked it in March. So, well, almost a year, I guess. It wasn't a year because it's January. So it went from March 5th to December 30th. So that's like what? 9 months, 10 months. Yeah, I just remember when I was excited about it at 300. Sometimes every day I'm going 300 something days, and Brian's going, that's not helping me. That just seems like forever away. So 109 days. 9 days from now, no, 10 days from now, I'll be under 100. Eventually, because something weird happened with Royal Caribbean app, eventually it will resolve, I'm sure, and then we can look at it on the thing, which is nice. Clearly, they've got to fix it. Okay, because you can't pay for anything, so they've got to fix the app. You can't pay your payment on your cruise. You can't pay for drink packages. You can't pay for excursions. Right. Something's wrong with your app. Can you fix it? Thank you. Probably it might get to the point where they have to tell us to delete it off our phones and download a different app if someone corrupted it. Just because they're deranged. They're mad. I guess the plastic kayaks aren't doing it anymore. And so they figured out what ghetto on Carnival means. Okay. Yeah, I kind of doubt that they're saying, sorry, we hit a snag. I would say that the app got corrupted. Anytime when I'm doing something on my phone and a weird thing like that pops up, I don't believe that that's Royal Caribbean doing that. After what I went through on Facebook and stuff. Nope. You can just tell, and it's kind of like remedial, like Photoshop or whatever you call it. It's not even like high tech stuff. It's been doing this since yesterday. I don't know if that's their version of shutting off Twitter. We're not going to talk about cruises. We're going to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about this. You talk about whatever the fuck you want, but you don't dictate what I talk about. Yeah, I'm just reiterating so if someone can notify Royal Caribbean Corp if they're not getting my tweets. People can't even make payments on their cruises. Right? When you hit anything, it says we've got a snag. So if they could let us know if we need to, quote unquote, update the app or download a new app on the phone, that would be great. They do because you're interfering with the business. So you'll find out. They don't give a fuck about what you do to me personally on a Facebook and YouTube and shit. But when you start doing and you're fucking with Royal Caribbean, which is a business, they'll go right after you and you'll go to fucking jail. So maybe you got tricked into doing something that fucked up. Okay? There's a difference between private citizens and a fucking corporation.
The Trump administration cut more than $2.5 billion in federal research grants from Harvard earlier this year. That move came after the school
Get it?
changed from
Right. You're not doing POA fucking interruptions on World Caribbean Corp.
cuts were unconstitutional and were an ideological attack on the school. Trump's team says it will appeal the judge's decision.
House Speaker Mike Johnson appointing 5 Republicans to a new subcommittee investigating January 6th. Representative Barry Loudermilk will lead the investigation. Reps Morgan Griffin, Clay Higgins, Troy Nels, and Harriet Hagman will also join. Democrats Eric Swalwell, Jasmine Crockett, and Jared Moskowitz were named earlier this week. Representative Jamie
I guess we'll wait for someone to fix that, and then
Republicans say the new
anyone will pay attention to your fucking retarded news that has no meaning.
Democrats
Try that.
investigation led by their party does not need to be revisited.
And that money is skipping the mainland United States
And then see if it nullifies the map.
ID magazine that he
Right.
says he doesn't want.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, say somebody did something that they thought was going to cause an action and cause chaos and shit, I would assume that you get more and more angry when that doesn't happen. Right. Also, what I explained to you about all you ever had to do was give me housing. It's almighty. He would have made everybody stop. Okay, so also the thing about you're not containing the population, Almighty God is. Okay, so whenever someone already had a story on CNN about radicalized, because there was a shooting at a college because the person was radicalized, which means they had cancer and they had to be put down with fentanyl because their life was over and there's too much suffering. So you immediately, when you click on it, it doesn't say radicalized anymore. When you want to like hit it and share it, it doesn't say radicalized anymore. Okay, that's you trying to stay in a denial that you're the reason that nobody is doing anything. No one cares about the pollution. No one's stopping. And then you can stop it at any time you want. You just choose not to. You live in a delusion. You live in a delusion. Almighty God is containing the people, not you are. Okay, so every time you hide a piece of knowledge like that, you're trying to live in your own little fantasy world, and it has to do with acceptance about your own death and your whole species. Because if you put it all out there, which essentially you already did, you put it all out there about what's going on, like Obama did about the poisons in the food and all that, and the people don't do anything, you know you're fucking doomed. There's nothing you can do to the people but put them down, and that's it. And then hope that you get a chance of survival. Not at some magic moment, they're all going to wake up and you're in control of it and you're the Father God and they're going to listen to you now. They're not. Most of them are already in acceptance after 2020 because God explains it to them. You're the people that are still in a denial. In theory, you're the most dangerous. If you have the technology to be doing what you're doing, you're the most dangerous. So that's why you're in the most denial. I'm helping you in a sense because you begin to get, you're going to lose your mind because you're responsible for it because you hid the information from them. It's an extinction. They don't care about the information. The information's already been out there, not you're now hiding it. It's like your own panic and denial. That should make sense. You're on the thing talking about you got Satan 2 and Russia and the nuclear weapons, and Camilla's saying crimes against humanity. You got Obama talking about the food's all poison. You got a guy explaining the vaccines again. They don't care. They're not all going to stop the second you're going to die, and then you'll rebirth in Never Never Land of, yay, everybody stopped and came together as a people and walked and got rid of. Not happening. just the grandiosity of that you would actually believe that is extremely grandiose.
That would be about it. Very good in terms of how much moisture.
So
Atmosphere to force out some showers over the weekend. 64 in Boston. Right now, the wind
I guess eventually when you all pass away and then you go into your next bodily form, your next form of life, ants in the subterranean, yeah, then you go, yeah. Oh, so we all actually did the right thing and came to terms. Whatever. Then everybody's really going to be up there, huh? Everybody that, oh yeah, and then they're up there. Everybody will be up there when you're underground, yeah, moving dirt around and nonstop highway. Maybe God will play that song in your head. Life is a highway. Right, babe? They'll still be driving on the highway, underground. Probably, yeah, the tunnels, and then sometimes you come up out of a little hole and stuff, yeah. Or you go scouting.
Baseball at Fenway Park looking dry. If there's a spot shower in Boston, I think the best chance for that would be in the middle of the afternoon.
That's supposed to be an insult. That's clearly a very important species. Very important. I don't know what thinking is to your species. They got to have some kind of thinking. There's a lot of coordination going on down there, making all those roadways and stuff for worms and plants to grow, and they eat all the nitrates. So
seems like it's a million activities once school sets in, every weekend. We do have nice weather. It's going to be a little cool in the morning. It's upper 40s then. Temperature's not as cool Sunday morning, and the 7-day forecast is featuring a lot of 70s, eventually those low 80s.
Maybe when you're driving around, you could be like, I'm making food for my species. We need this stuff when we go underground, when we get small. We need this to live on.
Coming back home to Fenway tonight to face the Yankees team that they have absolutely owned in 2025. They're 8-2 against the Bombers this season, outscoring them 56-38. And their pitchers have gotten it done, working to a tidy 3.54 ERA. And they've got the iron of their rotation lined up this weekend, throwing Lucas Giolito tonight.
That would be interesting to know if ants put any type of coating or capsulize on their food or something that they're going to eat. I'm going to look that up, what they do when they're... Right, just in case. Just in case. Right. When you guys piled up formula and then storage units and stuff, were you thinking, I'm just going to get this just in case? Interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything much different at all. That curve has been consistent from day one, and that's the biggest thing we look for as a coach. Somebody who comes in prepared every day, willing to learn, willing to work, willing to learn, willing to get better.
I guess that's it. Brian's not saying anything. There's nothing really interesting going on the news. I mainly because of the map thing, I turned it on. It's hard to say with this person that comments, right, why the person would start asking that, right? Like it becomes like anything they think is going to make you angry. But I have no idea what that. Just immediately right out of the bat, when did you go through menopause, if you don't mind me asking? And then nothing else after that. I know that has something to do with the cancer map. Is that me insulting you when I'm pointing out your reality? Whoa. I would assume there was some sort of a conversation going on with the person before I even turned the live stream on. Yeah, because I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about being removed from my habitat, that God is removing you from my habitat. That's why your cancer rate is what it is.
trapped inside.
Right? You just go all when something is crazy, all you have to do is prove a person that is the person is incorrect. And you can do that, right? By giving me a place to live. That's how you can prove something to me. Not veering off into things that you think are insulting because I'm a female and I don't produce children anymore.
Aerial video shows the damage left behind. The fire chief says he's thankful for a neighbor who noticed the smoke and immediately called 911. He says the fire started in the back.
That would be interesting too. To some degree, I don't think it even matters that they can attract mates. It's just about producing children.
And the homeowner remains.
My husband's 38 years old. He doesn't even want children. So, yeah, just right. It's just about being able to produce children. It's not even really like your age or attracting a mate. Okay.
Yep, she sure is.
I came in that house. And I got us into crypto. We're down, but
You know, we're gigillionaires now. Wi-Fi works great everywhere, not just
Commercial.
Not you too, Beth. Okay, wrong one in the doghouse.
Expand your Wi-Fi footprint. Get home internet from AT&T with no annual contract. Prices starting.
I had like two things happen. First of all, my phone was dead when I woke up, which is annoying. And then I went to like do a video and the phone was acting up too. Every time I went to shut, I had to press it like 14 times to get it to stop. So I have a sense that somebody's gone into a fury and they're messing with the phone using those layer things. Yep. Just because I've been doing this for a long time, I know exactly all the technology that people do when they get into your devices in a madness. And then somehow that's what, not treason. That was funny yesterday with UMass Boston. In case you might want to look into it. Okay. That's all they tell you over and over again. They're the most diverse college in the whole country. So they're funneling invaders into your land piece through that college, just so you know. Okay. And now it's free to everyone but private U.S. citizens that are homeless and destitute and 3 semesters away from a bachelor's degree. Where I would make $150,000, $200,000 a year, apparently, according to Google. I think I could live on 150 grand a year. So they're purposely preventing me from being able to work and have an income where I can pay a rent. And then they talk to me like I'm a piece of shit and I can't be here. And I'm sure the transit cop that screamed at me doesn't have a bachelor's degree in psychology or anything else. Get it? Okay, well, I do. So that's people wondering why there's no there's not none, but it's difficult, especially with certain insurance, to get a psychiatrist, a psychologist. Everything's a social worker. That's probably all they're allowing people to get for degrees is social work for some reason. And that makes sense when you're insane monkeys. Okay. So just so you know, you might want to look at my academic record and then question why that happened. Okay. So I would say that most of these people go in there are straight out retards because once you allow people in there that have any brain power, it offsets the grading. So just so you know, it's a terrible, terrible thing that they've done. So there's going to be less and less people qualified doing any type of stuff. Now, some people that I know got in, I hope they're prepared for the onslaught of what's going to happen when they start working. I don't wish bad things upon people. I just know about it. Okay. So you're going to have skin that's extremely thick because these things will literally harass you until you're forced to stop working. So it's just an awful, disgusting thing that's happening on the land piece. And thank God for thermonuclear weapons and cancer. Okay. So if you haven't been in the workforce for a while, because I had to experience this in 2009 and 10, if you haven't been in the workforce for a while, right, these things will literally sabotage you at work, harass you until you're forced to stop working. If they can't just concoct a reason to get rid of you, okay, it's the co-workers for the most part. It's probably not even the higher ups, because some of these people are aggressive, retarded animals, and they can tell right away that you have a brain and they don't like it. That's exactly what happened to me. I'm not a layabout. I actually am efficient at work, and they don't like it and they get rid of you. As they sit around, tool around on Facebook, not sterilize equipment properly at a dentist office, all of it. Because they know they're going to lose their fucking job. So they just get rid of you. Okay, so I guess good luck out there. And I don't mean it to be mean, just I think a warning is good to know what the reality is in the world right now. And it's not new, but I'm sure it's gotten 15 times worse from than when I did it. So oh yeah, just a violation of OSHA protective measures for you and patients, if you report it to anybody, I am not kidding you. This was in 2011, was it? Or the end of 2010? They had a dental assistant that didn't wear gloves. Okay? Like, think about it. What person, okay, that's working as a dental assistant doesn't care about protecting herself from diseases? And she sure as fuck doesn't care about protecting you from her diseases. Get it? I hope you get it. Okay. So expect to see that shit in hospitals and stuff, I'm sure. So I don't know what's going to happen with certain people. Maybe it'll work out, or it's something like happened to me. You go, I went through 10 months of coursework in 3 months of an externship just because I had to report these people for what they're doing. That's all it was. That's all it ended up to be. That was the whole purpose of me being there. So there's not really much they can do to you when you leave and report them. There's not really anything they can do to you at that point. Yeah, just FYI. You may never work again, which again, I didn't. Right, because if they start telling other dental offices that you report when people are violating health standards, yeah. Some of them will like make up shit about you too, because they just don't like you and they don't want you working there. I'm not kidding you. So if you haven't been working in a while, yeah, that could be why some people are still wearing face masks. Oh, my battery's running out. Okay, so yep. I don't know. You get that in the psychiatric field too? That would be interesting, wouldn't it? A bunch of mental health experts going. Yeah, I don't know. Again, briefly, because the battery's going to die if you still go. Because what happened is you had an overbreeding of mentally retarded people, okay, and some sort of a culture that they were raised in where there was a constant excuse for their mental retardation. And it's a conspiracy, okay, Not they don't have the brain power to do certain work and they can't excel in the system. It's a conspiracy. Okay. So everybody can do every job, just we had a conspiracy to hold them down. That's what it was. We thought we were better than them. It's a conspiracy to hold them down. So they now will not let people that are intelligent into college, and they're flooding colleges with mentally retarded people. Okay. So you're going to have a mentally retarded person with a medical degree that doesn't know what they're doing. And then you have a person with the brain that has to be a social worker or something because that's all they'll allow them to do because they're forever the mentally retarded person's underling.
That's a conservative youth organization where he will be speaking to high schools and also college campuses. But again, the breaking